you really
I believe in you.
Oh! Wait, one more time, one more time.
It is the last Friday of the month, and you know what that means? The new Devstream just concluded, and oh my lord, do we have a lot of information. We have a world premiere, brand new Warframe that is actually 2 Warframes in one. We're gonna talk about it. Mesa Heirloom, the next Prime Warframe announced, everything about the new update, 5 new Incarnon Weapons, 4 new Augments, new Arcanes, and a Railjack Expansion. This one right here is an absolute handful. As always, big shout out to all our generous channel members, and now let's jump right into it. Okay, first things first, a couple of important dates and information that you should know about. Number 1, the current operation Belly of the Beast ends next week, so if you haven't grinded your Arcanes, then this weekend is your last chance to do that. Then, at Summer Game Fest, which I think will happen on June the 5th, you can get a Warframe drop if you watch at least 30 minutes of it on Twitch. This drop will be Dante the Warframe, probably also with inventory slot and pre-installed Catalyst. They didn't say the latter, but I would assume that it is this way. Only prerequisite here is that you have linked your Twitch account with which you watched the stream to your Warframe account. Also, at Summer Game Fest, we're gonna have a new Soulframe trailer to look out for. And in addition to that, Warframe has teamed up with Arc 8 to bring a bunch of beautiful new t-shirt designs also at Summer Games Fest. From what they explained, there will be a sort of pop-up capsule store or something where you can gain multiple t-shirt designs, which you can see in the background right here. So just in case you live in the wider Los Angeles area and you haven't anything else to do on June the 5th, you might as well go there and check it out and gain some t-shirts. However though, the next point is a bit of a sad note. If you follow Warframe on social media, you probably have already heard it, but in case you didn't, this year at TennoCon, which will happen in July, Rebecca will unfortunately not be able to be there. Reason for that is that she has a surgery coming up, which will happen exactly on the TennoCon weekend, and of course we're all very sad that she can't make it, but naturally, health comes first, and we all wish her the best. And speaking of TennoCon, we finally have the full schedule, and it is going to be the biggest TennoCon that we've ever had. No matter if you actually have a physical ticket or you just want to watch the Twitch stream, here is all the information that you need. Just like last year, also this year, the TennoCon will be a 2-day event. Starting out on Friday, there will be the big cosplay contest, followed by the Tenno concert, which will make a return this year. Both of these are going to happen in the Canada Life Place, which is the stadium that also last year's concert was played in, and regardless of whether you go in person or you watch it online, the cosplay contest will start at 7 in the evening and then the concert at 8:30 Eastern Time. For those of you who go there in person, there's of course also the registration, autographs, badge pickup, and all that stuff happening on Friday. I'm not going to go too much into the details here, just take a look at the screen and then you know where to be. However though, the big surprise is the Saturday, because unlike last year, the main panels will not take place anymore at RBC Place, but they will also be moved to the much bigger stadium, the Canada Life Place. Also here, I don't want to get too deep into all the panels and what that entails, you can read it in the background. However, we will have some special guests, like for example, some of the voice cast. And lastly, if you are a big fan of cosplay, then you will be very happy to see that we have 3 cosplay giants coming to TennoCon this year, who are already confirmed to be cosplaying as the Devil's Triad, so Rose, Leon, as well as Marie. I can absolutely not wait for that. But yeah, so much for the housekeeping, let's get into more Warframe stuff. Starting out with the brand new Heirloom drop, and that would be Mesa. We now have the confirmed release date for Mesa Heirloom, which will be July 11th. You can see her in the background right here, in-game, with some fashion randomization to get a better feeling of what she actually might look at, and just like with other heirlooms, we also here have a lot of customization options. If you like to see some skin, you can have her very open, if I might say that, but I personally actually prefer her with her duster, which is an optional piece that you can trigger on and off. In addition to that, also the cowboy hat that you're seeing here is optional too. But now let's come to one of my highlights of this dev stream, and that is the announcement of the brand new Prime. Finally, my boy Styanax will get his Prime, and may I say, he looks absolutely amazing. I think Styanax genuinely is one of the biggest glow-ups we have had in recent Warframe history. Right here, we can already see him in the game, and not only will he come with a base Prime skin, but also with Prime attachments for example, his shoulder plates, and also for his legs. If you ask me, I think his body looks relatively customization friendly, right? His chest has enough space for any type of chest plate. His shoulders too look like they're gonna synergize well with a lot of shoulder pieces. The only little issue that I see in terms of fashion is that these coins that are dangling on his neck, they might get in the way of some Syandana options. Still though, in my opinion, he is drop-dead gorgeous. But as any good Prime, Styanax does not come alone. He will be joined by his Prime weaponry, and that will be of course the Aphentis Prime, his signature spear gun, but also the Aphrodite pistol. Just one quick thing that I want to mention is, yes, we do see some stats on screen here, but from the numbers themselves, I think there might be some mods on the weapon already, so what you're seeing here might not really be all that telling. Plus, this is still Devstream footage, so everything you see here is still subject to change. As for when Styanax will release, he will come with the Jade Shadows Constellation update, which is the update that will launch in June. We're gonna talk more about that in just a minute. Beforehand though, if you could smash that like button, that would be really nice, because it always helps big time with the YouTube algorithm. So thank you so much for your support. But yeah, let's talk about Jade Shadows Constellation, the brand new update launching in June. To be more precise, June the 17th. This update is gonna bring a whole bunch of stuff, and we're now gonna go over all the important details. First of all, one fun detail, depending on which name for Jade's child you've chosen at the end of the original Jade Shadows quest, the key art for your quest will reflect that with either Sirius or Orion. That's a very cool detail. That being said though, in order to even play the new content, you will have to finish the original Jade Shadows quest. Shouldn't be all that much of a deal, given that you have like 3 more weeks to do that now. The first feature of this update will be a roundabout 40-minute long main story quest. As they show right here, when you start the quest, you will be locked in, so you can't play any other content. About the story itself, they didn't really tease all too much, so we're gonna have to explore that ourselves, but the main kicker about this whole update is the duality between Sirius and Orion, both sons of Jade. How about we talk a bit more about them? See, Sirius and Orion are the 2 new Warframes, but they're not actually 2 completely separate Warframes. Instead, they're both separate Warframes, but they're one Warframe at the same time. Yes, I know, a lot of us see the similarity to, for example, Equinox, who also has a light and a dark version with different skills, and that's definitely not all too wrong, but the kicker with Sirius and Orion is that you're not 2 in 1. Instead, it's more like with Wukong's clone, where whichever one of them you play as, the other one is gonna be on the battlefield with you together, also doing stuff at the same time. Don't worry, we're gonna look at their skills in just a minute. What's very cool here though is that for both of these Warframes, you can give them individual fashion. You can make them look like whatever they want. You can even make one look like the other or both look the same. You have the complete creative freedom. And what's even cooler is, they also are going to be built separately, so both of them will have their unique mod composition. If you now think, well, that sounds like a lot of forma, then the devs also have thought about that, because they confirmed that both of them will come with an innate omniforma polarity. This way, it shouldn't be all too expensive to mod them. Also, both of them will have their signature weapon. These 2 weapons are both going to be scythes, and they're going to be called Pride as well as Wrath. Also here, both are going to be moddable individually. As for how to acquire them, with Jade Shadows Constellations, there will be post-quest Railjack content. We're going to get into that in the next chapter, just saying that in order to get the blueprints and the components and yada 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 for Sirius and Orion, you're going to have to play the new Railjack content. More of that in a minute. For the time being, let's finally talk about their skill set and how their gameplay looks in practice, because it is quite a lot to take in. So, you know what? I'm just gonna let the man himself explain it. Pablo, stage is yours.
If you press your 1, for example, here, you will throw your scythe forward. Any enemy hit along the way will be set on fire. Wow, you got a lot of range there. But not to be outclassed, if you hold 1, then Orion comes in, kicks Sirius out of the screen. So yeah, whenever you hold, you swap and cast the ability of the other one So you can basically be swapping between the two. You're actually encouraged by a mechanic that I'll explain a little bit later. If you're doing it with Sirius, it's a long range that sets enemies on fire and collects any pickups along the way. If you do it with Orion, it is a short range one that adds slash, it hits harder, and it removes armor. For the second one, we really need to find some enemies. If you press your 2 on Sirius, you basically get something that will be very reminiscent to you from, so anyways, when you do damage to something, it does extra damage. Even more so when you do it with abilities, it consumes all of the sparks and it does. And if you look at Orion right now, even though you cast the thing, he also gets the ability. And then for Orion's too, so which you have active right now, it's kind of hard to see. This is when you get hit. Basically, you leave a ghost behind that will pull aggro from you. Cool. So it's like a defensive ability that reacts whenever you take damage. You create one of those decoys, and then it will basically distract you. Sorry. That over there is the third ability from Sirius, which is basically a zone where you heal, and the longer you stay in, the more damage reduction you get. In remembrance of their mother, every 1 minute you can revive someone that dies here. So if one of your squad mates dies, the zone will actually revive them with a 1 minute cooldown.
That's awesome.
Nice.
So if you do Orion 3,
Throws.
look at that.
Yeah.
Speaking of Nolan Christopher.
Event Horizon. It's
The black hole will pull enemies. Again, we have a lot of enemies to show you. You can pull it back with Sirius 1, or you can push it away with Orion's 1.
That's
So
hilarious.
you can control where it goes. And as it's killing enemies, it gets stronger and stronger, and also its duration increases as it's killing enemies. And the other thing that encourages to be swapping between them is the ultimate. So if you look in the lower right, there's that constellation with the marks, and there it is, the ultimate. So you start flying about, and it's time to fight your brother.
the ultimate is
So whenever you press, you want to try and match the constellation, so you can see the color there that you should be matching, and that is either like right click or left click. And whenever they cast it, they basically collide and create a big AoE. So wherever you're looking at, they start kind of fighting each other, like in the trailer.
do it again.
And they start devastating people.
So you can see that Megan is building up her constellation.
And that becomes a pattern you have to match?
Yeah, you have to.
Cool.
Yeah. So Megan has built her constellation. She can now do her ultimate to full. So left, right. You can see left.
So yeah, as I said, quite a lot to work with here. Right now, I don't have 100% of a plan of how I would probably mod them, but as per usual, once the update drops, I'm trying to get a day 1 build guide out for you so you get a bit of an idea. If you don't want to miss that day 1, then you know how it goes, leave a sub to the channel and welcome to the crew. However though, I previously mentioned post-quest Railjack content. Let's talk about that. After the Jade Shadows Constellation quest, there will be a new Proxima available. That will be Uranus Proxima, and that's where the new Railjack content takes place. The way we access this is that after the quest, there will be a new hub area, which is going to be split between Ryoku as well as Vina. Just in case you forgot, these are the new Proto-Frame skins, which are also going to come with the update, and both of them are sort of dementors of Sirius and Orion. As for the new Railjack content, basically what we're doing here is 2 big new missions. Mission 1 is on the side of Ryoku, trying to enter Vina's main ship and fight her, and the other side is Team Vina, where you enter Ryoku's ship and then have him as a boss fight. These 2 new missions are going to have a bit of a bigger scope than the usual Railjack quests, in that we're going to have more ship combat action, more boarding action, and just a lot more going on, new ideas, and in general, much more variety. The big caveat here is that these new missions, you're actually not going to play that with your own Railjack. Depending on which mission you pick, you're either going to start with Ryoku's or Vina's Railjack. This, on the one hand, is cool, so if you haven't invested heavily in your Railjack, you can still pretty much explore everything no problem. But on the other hand, if you have a good Railjack and you want to really go to town, well, that might be a bit of a disappointment. However, for all the Railjack fans out there is a big new reveal coming up in just a minute. But yeah, let's quickly talk about the whole mission structure. The way it's going to be is that you have a couple of minor objectives, like for example taking out some stuff in space, boarding a ship, then coming back to your railjack, and partially also flying as a ram sled yourself, which will then at the end culminate in boarding the big main ship of the antagonist yourself. These two ships are completely remodeled corpus ships, and you can also see some B-roll in the background, including new rooms, traps to avoid, and 2 brand new boss fights. The devs also said that there are going to be some secrets hidden on those 2 ships, and that we as a community should come together to solve them. As a reward, we're going to get special signas for Ryoku and Vina. You can see them in the background right now. However, if you like Railjack and you're disappointed that you can't bring your own into the mission, then don't you worry because there is a big announcement. Railjack is gonna get a Steel Path mode. Yes, that's right, they said that they're gonna working on bringing Railjack into Steel Path and their goal is to ship it with the update. They did say that they're still working out some issues and bugs, so they're not 100% sure if they can make that until the update launch, but they said they're like 97% sure it's gonna be fine. To make sure they can launch it, they said that at launch, Acolytes will not happen in Steel Path Railjack. They still have something to do in order to make that happen first, but they said we're still gonna get Steel Essence, where there's gonna be a workaround where Steel Essence will be dropped by Eximus units instead, until at some point in the future, they're gonna be able to include the Acolytes in Railjack too. So yeah, a jam-packed update when it comes to content. But we're still not done because there's so much more that comes with it. Let's talk about new Incarnon weapons. Now, which weapons it will be, we already talked about it in the past, I'm not going to go into it all too deeply anymore. However, we now have official gameplay for the Vectis Incarnon as well as the Stug. And those two look kinda interesting. First of all, the Vectis in Incarnon mode has a special alt fire which will create an energy sphere. This energy sphere, if you land a body shot, will linger around and deal damage over time. However, if you land a headshot, it will instantly explode and deal big AoE damage. That looks definitely pretty cool because it means that this sniper rifle too will now have some crowd clearing usability. That's always good. As for the Stug, I actually already made a video about it not too long ago, and whatever I said there still counts, so I'm not going to go too much into the details here. Just saying, the special thing about the Stug is that you don't need to get headshots to charge the Incarnon mode. That charges just on body shots, so that's pretty convenient. And in Incarnon mode, the blobs that it fires will explode and then create more smaller blobs, which sort of have an AoE explosion pellet mechanism. It's just gonna be a very funky, explodey experience. I could see this actually being a competent AoE weapon. As for how to gain access to these Incarnons, the devs said that they will be in the rotation the week after the update launches. However, if you have some platinum to spare, then all new Incarnon weapons will instantly be available in Cavallero's shop for platinum the moment the update drops. But new weapons are still not it. With this update too, we're gonna get 4 brand new augment mods. One for Dante, one for Temple, one for Noko, and one for Kome. The ones for Noko and Kome, they didn't show anything about it, so we are still in the dark. However, they did reveal the ones for Dante and Temple. These right here are the ones we're talking about, and in my opinion, they could be quite interesting. For Dante, if I see it right, the alt fire of his Exalted Tome will now start spawning these page flight sort of bird book that are usually limited to one of his abilities. These will inflict damage to enemies and restore energy to allies. I'm not 100% sure how good this will be, we're gonna have to try it out in practice. However, if the damage is good, then I might put a build together incorporating this. As for Temple, this right here is mainly a survivability augment, making it so that if you hit the metronome just right, you will gain Overguard every time. This Overguard will then stack up the more consecutive metronomes you hit, so if you're good on the beat, you're gonna be a very, very tanky Warframe. Probably not everybody gonna be the hugest fan with the metronome mechanic and everything, but I'm gonna try it out and then see if I wanna make an updated build on Temple or not. But whoever says mods also needs to say Arcanes. With this update, I think they said we're gonna get 4 new Arcanes, of which they also showcase 2, and these are kinda interesting. On the one hand, we have Arcane Sculptor, which is for Warframes. This one can be put on any Warframe that creates some sort of with one of their abilities, and what it does is, when you create an object with an ability, your ability efficiency is going to be locked at 175% for 12 seconds. This means regardless of how much blind rage you slap onto the frame, regardless of how low your efficiency is, after that, it is going to be set to 175, no discussion. If I'm gonna be 100% honest, given how generous the energy economy in Warframe is overall, I personally don't think this is gonna be all too crazy of an arcane. Not 100% sure if I would use it. However, the second one, Primary Compression, this one is much more interesting. This one essentially turns AoE weapons into super-powered single-target ones. When equipped, it will reduce your explosion radius by 80%. However, for every meter of AoE radius that you lose, you will get plus 100% damage and plus 5.5% ammo efficiency. So if you run a weapon with a big radius, that's going to be quite a lot of damage, especially if you, I think, add something like a blast radius mod, which is further going to increase the radius and therefore give you probably even more damage. And last but not least, there's also going to be a big quality of life drop in this update again, much of which has been anticipated for a long time. I'm just gonna blitz through it because it's summer, it's very warm, and I just want to get this voiceover over with. The Grineer defense tileset on Uranus is going to be reworked, it's going to be streamlined, and nicer to play. The holdfast on the Zeramen 10-0 have gotten a lighting overwork, so they don't look as flat and just more realistic and better overall now. Nidus will get a light rework, which looks very nice and promising. I'm not going to say anything here because we talked about it on the last dev stream already, and if you want, you can just check out the recap if you're curious. Then, for everybody who likes upscaling, or in general doesn't have the craziest graphics card, FSR3 and DLSS4 will be implemented, hopefully leading to some better frame rates. Then we're gonna get the new camera offset technology, which we talked about in previous videos already. If you have big fashion, then it's no longer gonna be blocking your camera anymore. In addition to that, we have other stuff that was mentioned before. Knockdown animations are going to be streamlined, DOT effects are now going to be visible on enemies' health bars, the junction bosses are going to get a light facelift, and another new one, with Garuda receiving a Gemini skin now, they will make it that her talents will be able to have a separate skin, regardless of which skin you're using on Garuda herself. But okay, I'm sitting here at over 30 degrees in my office, I'm sweating like crazy, so big shout out to Niels V, Demon Lord Zell, Demon Emperor, Emperor Prime, Nost Linux Gaming, Turtle P, Undercunnier 2, Skylar Bowser, Mihawky, Socrates, the Almighty Rat, Leo Morizaki, Shadow Lockhart, Herrn Tagas, Patrus Later, Boomer 1, Mr. Gamesplay, Zave, Alwindar, Zengen Quags, Henrik 5984, Blue Eagle 98, Hearthwheeled, Everin 8802, Gabriel Tevez, Yako Ivan Gonzalez, Candy Fox 19, Argent Hat, and all other generous channel members for your continuous support. Have a nice weekend, and I'm gonna take a shower now.